Okay, I think I have accomplished it. So, welcome. This is Cindy Fodor with Stamp the Love, and I'm a couple seconds late. I had some technical issues there based on my screw up. Give me 2 seconds to make sure that we are transmitting okay, and to let people know where to actually find us. Okay. All right. There we go. Whew. I don't know why technical things really get me up. I see that didn't go through either, to tell you that I was having technical issues. Wow. Sorry, guys. I do want to do one more thing. I noticed on some of my videos that the sound wasn't very good. So I'm going to turn that up just a little bit and try not to yell in your ears. All right, so let's just see if we're coming through here at the proper place this time. Okay. I'm still not seeing it. Oh my. Okay, well, wherever we are, I have some fun projects to show you. Okay, there it is. All right, guys, sorry about that. Okay, hi Karen, hi Talara, thank you. I'm glad I finally got it working because I have been having so much fun today with these projects and I cannot wait to share with you. So today I was playing with the pretty pillow box die and trying to do some things that were different than just a little pillow box. So I'm going to start out by showing you what they are, because this could get just a little long tonight. You know, I talk fast and I work pretty fast, but I think I have 3 or 4 projects to show you, and I'm hoping that if I show you them at the beginning, you'll want to stick by to see them till the end. Okay, so I'm going to flip over to my other screen and we are going to get started. I do have to do one thing, and I have to change one battery here real quick. Oops, that's not the right screen. Sorry about that. Let's try this one. That was my screen. Okay, so I had to charge this battery a little bit. I think it might have been okay, but I don't want to run out in the middle of everything. Okay, so let me show you the projects first. Well, I'll show you the dies first. So these are the the pretty pillow box dies. They're just a little fancier than just a pillow box. And let me turn that up just a little bit. And so here's the first project that is just the pillow box, but I'm going to actually show you how I put this together, because it actually has Velcro to hold it closed. I think one of the things I really don't like about pillow boxes is that this is usually the closure for them, the sides, and then they stick out and look funky. And with this one, you've got your opening right here to put your treat in or whatever you want to put in there, chapstick, lip gloss, whatever. And so I'm going to show you how I put that together. This one, I'm not going to show you the inside because I don't want to untie that, but I'm going to show you how I did it. But I turned it into it won't fit a gift card, but it will fit some cash that I folded up. So you'll be able to see here. It's got some inside things going on. So I did it like a little purse. And then the final coup de grace is this one, which I'm just in love with. And it's a little box treat holder, or bag, you could call it. Okay, guess I need to turn that off. So anyways, so let's start out with the basic one. And I just tucked this little tag. I actually tied this on and tied these cute little things on from our gingerbread and peppermint acrylic shapes. And they're pretty cool. Like they have a lot of different shapes, but this one you can actually tie. And then this has a little center that I put on the flower there. And I lost you guys. So, hey, Sylvia, welcome. All right, so let me grab my piece that I cut out, and I'm using craft brown or craft paper. It comes in 6x6. If you have it from previous times, we had it in 12x12. And so I cut, I'm just going to show you what I cut. Thanks to Lara, I do too. Okay, so I cut this piece out of the craft, and then I took this die right here, and I laid it there and cut that piece out, because you see it's separate, so that you can do it solid, or you can do the eyelet look. And then I just took a smaller piece and cut out up here. So let me go ahead and fold these. Now I will tell you, like, it gives you the score lines, but the score lines are not very strong. And so I am going to, before I fold that, I'm going to actually improve the score here using my stylus tool. And it stays on pretty nice because I can follow the line that they already have. But I feel like it just needs a little more depth to it than what a die cut will do. And even here, if you feel like you need a little extra, you could do that to make sure that it folds in the right spot. And here, since we're going to fold these, I should have probably used a straight edge for that, but I didn't do it there before because I didn't feel like it really needed it. But these areas definitely need it. So let's go ahead and get this folded. And now what I'm going to do is just, I'm gently taking my finger and pressing down on that piece and causing it to fold really sharply where the score line is. And this just takes patience. You can't force it because you don't want it to go straight. You want to make sure it goes on that curve. And I also, I'm really happy that I remembered to stylus that and score it, because it really gives it a nice sharp curve. Okay, so now since this is going to be our front, I want to fold these pieces in and fold this over top, because I don't want to see, if I do it like this, I would see where that crease or where that edge comes up. I don't want to see that. So I'm going to force those in really good. And then I'm just going to scoot this one over top. And it really is a tight fit. But gently and carefully, that one's not going, there we go. I just don't want to make an extra crease, so I'm trying to be careful that I'm not forcing something when something else is in the way. Okay, so now I have it like I want it. Now I'm going to use my green glue, and I'm going to just put glue on the one that's coming up from the back. I will push this back in place carefully. And you do have to hold that for a few seconds because you got to make sure that that glue is sticking. In fact, you can reach inside of here and press with both hands from the inside and from the outside, and that will give you a better, quicker joint. Not joint, yeah, joint. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Let's do this side. And again, I'm just going to press down there so that this scoots over. And again, I'm going to reach inside of here. That's the nice thing about this pouch, this sour cream type, not sour cream, pillow box pouch. Usually when you put them together, you can't get this, you can't get inside because this is your closure. So I really am excited that they did something. And when I show you the rest of the projects that you can do with this, it's even more exciting. So, okay, so there we have our basic pouch. Now I do want this to curve a little bit, but actually let's glue this down first. So I like these little stitch marks here, and I want it to look about like that. And I'm going to zoom in just a tad so you guys can see a little closer. But I don't want these edges out here, so I am going to take my scissors and I'm going to just snip that straight. And I'll come over here and do the same thing with this side and just snip that straight. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to add glue here and to the bottom here. I don't want it overlapping and getting on here. So I'm just going to put a tad here and here and maybe a little bit in there. Then when I put this down exactly where I want it, or maybe close to where I want it, and then I'm going to just press that down for a few seconds. Actually, I think I put this together and too quickly went and put my Velcro on and didn't give that time to dry good. So we're going to do that. In the meantime, I'm going to show you how I adhered. Oh, this piece was a little bit longer here, but I wanted my cord to stay in place, and so that's not going to work with this, and I wasn't thinking when I made this shorter. Okay, that was sort of dumb. All right, so what I had done with this one, because I made it down to the fold there, was I put a piece of sticky strip along here, and then I put my cord in that, and then I put this on top. But because I didn't cut that long enough, I'm not going to be able to do that. So instead, I'm going to put just a little bit of glue right here. Mainly because this is not going to fold completely down because all of this is in the way. So I'm not too worried about that. So I'm going to go ahead and stick my cord in there and just give it a few seconds to dry. And let me just talk about this while I do that. This is a little tag that actually comes from here. And then these little flowers, there's 2 large and 2 small. And so I cut that out here and just glued it on. And I'm going to just be able to write like for you or to somebody. But I wanted to be able to take this on and off. So I just cut a little slit right there, and it actually stays on very well. And I just lifted it over there, and then it just hangs on my cord that I have tied on there. So I didn't have to try to stick that on and tie it. Barbara, I'm so glad you found me. I accidentally I went into my page, but for some reason, I guess I didn't click on my page. And that must be what happened the last time that happened. So I started, when it wasn't working, I realized there was a problem when nobody was coming. And I realized I got this off center here. Okay, so let's go ahead and put our Velcro piece on. And these are not the pieces that I like to use. You can see how thick they are. Walmart has at least had some nice flat ones, but my husband picked these up for me and didn't find those. So these are way thicker than I like to use, but I guess it'll have to work, right? And I'm going to put that as close to the edge as I can. And let's go ahead and tuck this down. And we'll just let that hold there for a few seconds. And now I'm ready to tie this piece, and it's glued inside, so it shouldn't be scooting on me, okay? And I did tie those little things to the end already, so that's going to make it a little bit tricky, but I didn't want to have to tie them in front of you because you have to thread them through, which isn't terrible, but it takes a little bit of time, and I wanted to save some time. And it's also very difficult to tie this without an extra hand, but I did it on the other one with 2 threads together, but when you're on camera, it's always a lot harder. All right, so that's definitely hanging down a little further than I wanted it to, but You can see how adorable that looks. And now I'm going to try to open this, and I'm going to hold both edges so that they will come apart. And now I'm going to press really good on this one, and I'm going to press really good on this one so that they're stuck down really well. And that looks pretty good. That's staying in place there, so I'm happy with that. So now it's pretty much ready. I can tuck in there whatever I want to put in there. Some candy. Just a little thank you gift for somebody. And voila, it's done. So that is our basic pouch. So hopefully that was helpful in putting that together. It's just a little more sturdy than just a regular sour cream pouch, in my opinion. All right, the next one is this little money card holder. And I really love how this turned out. This was actually my own creation. And so I was like, what else can I do with this set? So let's start out with what I started with is a piece of, it's about 4.25 inches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4.25 inches by 12 inches. Now, this isn't going to work with your regular craft brown cardstock that we have right now. This is our old cardstock, but you can use any of our 12 by 12 cardstock. And it does have to be 12 inches because you can see here, I'm using almost every bit of it. Okay. Now, so what I did, and I'm not going to actually do this right now because I didn't want to add that step, but I took my fold and I took this die, and I'm going to hold it up here close so you can see. Let me just put this, let's see, I need something white underneath it maybe so that you can see good. All right, so I put this just so that the cutting edge was right over the edge of that fold. Okay, so this is the fold right here, and here's the cutting edge. I just felt it. I turned it over so that I could see exactly where it was going to cut. And then I just put that slightly over the edge, and then I ran that whole thing through the Big Shot or the cutting machine. Okay. I still feel like there's darkness there in the corner. I'm not sure. Oh, you know what? My phone might be in the way. Okay, how's that? Is that better? All right. So I ran that through, and this is what I got when I was finished. Okay, so now I have this piece right here. So what I did, and because I'm not using this this little concave look, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold this on this fold, and I want to just bring that right up, and then I'm going to fold this one back down, and you can see where we're going here, right? And I'm going to fold this one back up. And so it's going to look just like that. And these match up perfect. Oh, I forgot to tell you that I used this die right here to cut out my holes. And it left a mark there, but it doesn't look terrible. And when we tie our cord, it's going to cover that anyways. And then I took a piece of, oh, here it is. This is from Taste something designer paper. It's that big expensive pack of paper, and these are 2 different pieces, I believe, but they were some cut pieces that I already had, and I went ahead and stuck them. I cut it to the width that I wanted here, the height I guess I should say, and then I ran it through here, and it cut my edges so that they were exact to match up on here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that on. And that should line up to the edge there. And then I just cut a piece of scrap, and I ran it through our wood grain embossing folder. And I'm going to just add that here just for a little bit of accent. And I'll put a little bit of adhesive here because I'm not sure which part of the grain that I want. But I really like where the knot is here, so I want to put that over here. And I'm just placing that above my where my designer paper stops. And then once that's sticking good, you can just turn this over and give it a little trim. And I'll do the other side. Okay. All right. So there we go. All right. Now, you can see here, that has this little slot already. And doesn't that say, like, put a gift card in me or something? Well, I tried a gift card and it's too tall for this. A gift card will come up here too far. So I took a $10 bill and folded it in half and in half again and tucked it down in here, and it was perfect. Now, I could glue this together down here, but I really don't want to lose that height because that's where the money comes down through. So what I decided to do is go ahead and open this, and I took our, yeah, looks like I brought a punch instead of my stapler. Okay, some days. Anyways, I used a stapler and came in here and put 2 staples right here. Okay, I'm sure you can picture that. The nice thing about that is you will never see them because this closes and that holds it together there almost like a book. And so you'll never see those staples except if you open this. When you open this up, you'll be able to see the staples there. But when it's closed, you won't get to see those. All right. So let me just show you what else I did here. Then I just took my this looks more like a craft brown. So this comes from that assortment of baker's twines. It has the black and the white and several tans and a gray. And so I'm using the one that looks more like a craft brown. And did I cut any? I don't think I cut any there. So I just put that through here. And I actually used, as you can see here, I used about 4 strands of it to get that a little thicker. I'm only going to do one right now. And then when you do yours, you can do as many as you want. If you don't like to tie bows, the more layers you add to it, the more cords you add to it, the harder it is to tie. And I have this long enough, I probably could have done that double. But anyways, you get the idea. But I also found this from our many happenings, I believe. It's the stamps with all the sayings and the die that cuts all of them out at once. And I have them all cut out and organized in a box. And so I pulled that out because I wanted this to be a happy birthday. But after I did that, when I was getting ready to do this one, I saw this tag, which is in, guess what? It's in our pillow box dies. Okay, so that comes in here. So I decided to do that one, and I'm going to use a happy birthday saying, I think, from here, from the art gallery. And throw that on here. And I'm going to use Early Espresso for that, because I do love to show you the things that you can do with one purchase. Sometimes I like to show you 1,000 things, just because, you know, as crafters, we don't like to always be stuck in a box. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and put some dimensionals on here. I've got baby ones, so I'm going to put 3 across here. And I will just stick this one here. This one will be more masculine. I do have my little red flowers if I want to use them. But if I want to keep it more masculine, I wouldn't need to add those. And I have my little tag. And again, I did that little slit just sort of down into there. And then I was able to even bring it around all of those pieces that are in there. And so it just makes it so much easier if you want to add that. And then for the embellishments here, I decided that the centers of those flowers needed something. So I used the Elegant Faceted Gems. I'll show you one that's full. And I used just the clear ones because I didn't want to really add color to it. I just wanted something that was a little more glitzy. So I did add some of these to the center of those. Okay. So that's that one, other than my stapling, which is missing here. And of course, money to put inside there because I used a $10 bill. It was the only money that I have on hand. And you'll just have to trust me that there's $10 in there. There, can you see it? There's money in there. So, all right. So that's that one. Now, I'm going to clean up this mess just a little bit because the next one is the really, really fabulous one. And did I bring a cleaner in here? Of course, I'm sitting my computer on it. Let me just wipe that off a little bit so that that's not messy. All right. So now we're down to this one. Isn't it yummy? I just, I couldn't wait to show it to you guys. And I wanted to tell you guys, those of you that are on my team, Barbara, Sylvia, who else? Karen. Tomorrow, just come back at 10 o'clock. Don't forget to come to our Facebook group because I have some more fun boxes to show you, and it's not using this die. But this is just so yummy. Okay, I definitely need some scrap paper here. Is my light too bright now? Are you able to see everything okay? I know there's a lot of white showing there. You like the pumpkin one? Good. Good. Me too. Okay. So I am using Pretty Pumpkins. Mostly, well, actually, I'm using a lot of the stamps. I'm using this one, for the stamps. And then for the dies, I'm using this pumpkin, this cutout, and this cutout. And I have those already done. So let me show you that. Let me grab all my pieces here. So I have 2 of the pillow box dies cut out. All right. And then I also went ahead and cut out a flower from one of them because that's going to be my front. For this one, I cut out both sides, but I felt like it really didn't need that. And so anyways, all right. So those 2 pieces are cut. I've got my pumpkins. I've got these pumpkins. I've got this little flower. Actually, it's a pumpkin. Yeah, it's a pumpkin. Oh my goodness. I swear I have dementia. It's called Before a Flower Becomes a Flower. It's a bud. It's a bud of a pumpkin. Okay. And then I have a piece for the box part. I'm going to start with that. Oh, and I have this. I already colored this, so I don't think you're going to mind because I am going to have to color the pumpkins. But I want to tell you what I did here. This is that black and white paper that is from Celebration. And I decided to go ahead and color it in these fall colors. So I added some, I have it here. It is Misty Moonlight. So I used the light Misty Moonlight and colored in the flowers. And with pretty much everything I'm doing here tonight, I used a lot of the color lifter. And I just used, because I wanted it a little bit lighter. And of course, we only have dark and light. And so I used the light and then I used a color lifter just to blend it and it sort of grayed it out a little bit. But I did the same thing with the pumpkin pie. I used the dark pumpkin pie and then I blended that out a little bit. And that's all I did. Everything else that's there is printed in the black and white from the paper. Okay. And this piece, again, I cut like that other wooden piece out of the center here. I just cut it the width that I needed and then ran it through with this. And I could have put it on my paper at the same time and cut it at the same time. I didn't think that far ahead. All right, so the first thing that I want to show you is the box. Thanks, Rosemary. Thanks for joining me. This is 7.5 by, or 7.25, I'm sorry, by 5.5. So you can get 2 of these boxes from 1 piece of cardstock. Now, it does take another piece of cardstock for these 2 pieces. So for this box, it's going to take 1.5 pieces of cardstock. I'm going to grab my Simply Scored, and I'm going to show you how to score this. It's really easy. There's only one measurement that you need to know, and that's 2 inches. So you're going to score it at 2 inches on all sides. So I'm going to come in here to 2 and score. I'm going to turn it, come into 2, score. Turn it, 2, score. I'm going to turn it and come into 2 and score. And that's all that I need to do there. And then I am going to cut. I'm going to cut on these lines here. And I'm going to explain that. So this is our boxes going across here. And a lot of times it doesn't matter whether you cut it this way or cut it this way. This one does. I got this box pattern and this idea from Julie, oh shoot, Gilson, Julie Gilson. I think I met her on the cruise a long time ago. And just recently she was in one of the breakout groups from an event that we had. But anyway, she started popping up in her videos started popping up, and I love her ideas. So I want to give her credit for this cute box. I'm not sure if she designed it or if somebody else did. I have seen other people doing this as well. So I'm cutting in on all of these lines. Now, this is going to be my flap. And I do want to just cut a little bit, and I always cut a little bit inside of that score line. And it looks like down here I got a little bit outside of it. So I'm going to just scoot in there. And I'm going to just give this a little bit of an angle so that it folds in nicely and doesn't give me grief. And it looks like I got, oh, I see I made a mess of this. All right, I'll do that once I get that folded, if I need to trim that up. All right, so I'm just giving that a little bit of a curve, and I might do that out here as well, just so that it's not, I don't want it to stick over the edge once I glue it in. So I'm just going to take a little bit off this edge. As carefully as you cut and as carefully as you score, boxes don't always come together magically. This one did for me, so hopefully it will for you as well. But we shall see. You know, when you get in front of the camera, it always adds 30 pounds or looks twice as hard, right? So again, flap and flap. So I'm not sure if you can see that, but I've just angled these 4 flaps right here so that when I fold them in, they won't be running against the edge of the box. Okay, let's go ahead and score all of the score lines. Now that we have that all done. And then this side. Okay, so this is the length, and I'm going to just fold these up, and they're going to tuck right in here, just like that. Okay? And if you don't want the extra fullness, you could always cut these off a little bit. That's not going to bother me, so I'm going to go ahead and just glue them. So I'm going to glue both sides here and here. And I'm just going to tuck that right in there. Now, I'm not going to go by pushing that down because I just want to make sure there's a nice square corner here and a nice square corner here. And then I will just pinch those pieces all together. I feel like I'm getting in my own light here. Push it in just a tad. And then do the same to the other side. Make sure it's nice and square. Make sure that corner's nice and square. And just do a little pinching. Okay. And you can even press that down, turn them over and press if you're not sure that you got that. I'm going to just clean the tip of my glue off here. It looks like it's got some dried stuff and it wants to make a mess for me. Okay, so there's our box. That's easy, right? That wasn't hard. Now we're going to take these two pieces and go ahead and just fold on the bottom. Actually, before I do that, we need to do a little bit of cutting. I don't want this curve on the bottom here. So we're just going to cut that away very simply. I'm going to just put this straight edge against the top. And I'm going to put where that comes in right on my cutting line. And to make it easy, I'm going to see where that's at on my measurement here, and it's at 1 3/4 of an inch. So I know that I can bring my cutter down here, point it at 1 3/4, and just cut. And I will have removed that. I'll flip it over. Now I know it's at 1 3/4, so I can bring this down to 1 3/4, and I can go ahead and just cut. All right, so there I've squared that up nicely. And I do want to check one thing. I think I trimmed, yeah. I'm going to just trim a little bit off. I'm going to come, you see, I didn't cut, oh, let me show you here. I didn't cut the whole way down here because I knew I didn't need all of that. So I did try to cut it to here, but I ended up getting a little bit of that pattern in there. And I'm just going to cut that off. So I'm going to stick that right on that track, and I'm going to go ahead and cut that off. And then the same with this one. We'll put this in here. Put that to 1 3/4. And cut that. Again, 1 3/4. Cut that. And then again, I'm going to cut this little bit off of here. Just up to where that... just cutting up to here where that little indentation comes. Okay? All right, now I'm finished with that, I believe. Now we're ready to go ahead and fold up on this bottom fold on both of these. All right, now I just need to decide, of course I know this is my front, and so it's going to go underneath the back one because I don't want a piece of paper coming up here. Like if I did this, then you would see that opening there. So you just want to make sure your front piece is on the bottom. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my glue on here. You can use whatever glue you want, but green glue is pretty forgiving in things like this so that you can move it around a little bit if you need to. And my box should fit in there. I'm going to go ahead and press that down real good. And then my box will fit right in here. And I'm actually going to put the glue on the bottom of the box because it's a little bit narrower than that is. So let's go ahead and put the glue on here. And now we can sit that right down inside of here. And I just make sure that it's centered good. I don't want to be able to see it here. And I'm going to go ahead and push down in the box to make sure that glue's down there really good. Hi, Barbara. Thanks, Karen, for letting me know about the light. I appreciate that. I missed her comment because I was busy, but okay. So we still have this flap, but before I glue those down, I'm going to go ahead and add some of my things here. So I'm going to add this piece that I already colored, and I'm going to go ahead and use my Seal Plus because that'll hold it nicely. Decide which direction you want that to go. And then this little strip comes from Hand Penned, and I just so many times love this little scallop. I just pull it out quite a few times to use just the scallop out of that set. I love the whole set, but the scallop just gets used for so many different things. And that's just going to go right here so that this joint of the paper is covered. And I'm just trying to make sure it's even on either side. I'm going to give that a few seconds to glue because every time I don't do that, it starts moving when I go to cut it, and I don't want it to do that. So while that's sticking down, let's go ahead and glue this back piece on. So I'm going to just turn this over. I'm going to put my glue on there, press that down, turn it over, and give it a good press. All right, so this one should be good. Let's go ahead and get that trimmed off. All right, and now we can glue this side. And go ahead and press that one down. All right. So we have just finished creating our bag box. Purse, bag box. You guys tell me what you think you would call something like this. It's sort of a box inside of a purse. I don't know. Anyways, I just call it cute. Okay, so let me grab some scrap paper here. The next thing I'm going to do is my ribbon. And I am using this organdy striped ribbon. This is in Petal Pink, and I want orange. Let me just see how much I need here. I can never guess how much I need for a ribbon. For a bow, I should say. So we're going to do that much. And I'm going to take my dark pumpkin pie, and I'm going to turn this to the color that I want. So we have a lot of gorgeous organdy type ribbons right now. And I love different styles of organdy, but I love pretty much all organdy. And I love the fact that you can color them so easily without really destroying your brush tips. And of course, making one orange that's a lighter pink is certainly simple. Yeah, this is Petal Pink. I don't know if I said the color. So we're turning it into pumpkin pie to match our piece. And I can't wait to show you what else I'm going to do with it. You probably already noticed if you looked closely at the design. Now, most of this color goes the whole way through, but I am going to turn it over because there will be some areas, because the edges are pretty thick, and I'm going to just go over the edges just to make sure that there's no white left. I don't want to see any white showing. Sorry, I get my arm in the way there. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to take that and I am going to, I think why I keep thinking I don't have enough light is because I have this other light glaring in my eyes there. That might help me to be able to see my screen to know if things are looking okay. All right. I'm going to just cut up the center of this ribbon. And I know on my last video I did that with our in color organdy ribbons, and now I did it with the gold ribbon. And wow, the cool looks you can get with that. Now that comes apart because it's woven. This one is actually, I don't know, it's more interwoven, so it doesn't come apart as much, and that's cool too. So then I just have these cute pieces, and I like narrower ribbons, and this one's pretty wide. So, and the fact that I can put two pieces together now just gives me a little bit more fun. And I actually turned these both the same way, and then I tied my bow. Hi, Jeannie. Welcome. Okay, and then you can fluff it a little bit. You can separate those two layers a little if you want. And then we'll have to give it a haircut too. My hands are all gluey. My fingers are gluey, I should say. All right, so I'm going to give this a little trim. Okay, so there's our bow. Now, let's work on the pumpkins. The first thing I want to do is I want to Wink of Stella this one because I need that to dry. So we're going to do that first. This pen seems to be getting down to the nitty-gritty, and I did find that I had to put a couple layers on to get as much glitter as I wanted. So I'm going to do it once and then set it aside, and then if I want some more, I'll add some more later. I don't know if you can see what that did to that pumpkin. Okay, and then we're going to color these, and the colors I'm using. Well, I'm going to do the white pumpkin first. I don't know if you remember, I left one of these white, but I didn't want to leave it completely white because the rest were all shaded in. So what I did was I took my ivory. I was thinking this was my light crumb cake. I took my ivory and I just ran it along the edges here of the lines of the pumpkin. And how nice it is that we have our artists who already give us those lines so we don't have to think about where they are. And then I took my color lifter and I just came in and just spread that color out, or basically tried to obliterate the color is what I did. And if you're using your color lifter and you're not getting as much as you would like, as much to happen, use this heavier tip, and that presses your color a little bit more. It's not a heavier tip, but it looks like more of a pointed tip, but it's more solid, and you can actually press that color out more. Okay, now just remember that it gets lighter, and so oftentimes I make it way too light because I've done too much. I'm thinking that I want just a little bit of color at the edge of my pumpkin here because looks like it only goes part way. So let me just do that one quick. Okay. All right, now I'm going to work on this pumpkin, and I'm going to start with my light pumpkin pie, and I'm just going to go ahead and color. That is light. Yeah, it looks really dark. Just go ahead and color the whole thing. I'm being messy, but okay. And I'm going to shade the edges. I'm going to go just to the left of each, or I shouldn't say just the left, but the outside edge of each of those creases, and maybe a little bit more up in here where it will be a little bit darker. And I guess I should do a little bit back here. And then I'm going to bring this back, and I'm going to just sort of spread this color a little bit with my light pumpkin again. Again, I'm using that firmer tip to spread that color a little bit. And then I'm going to come in with my my color lifter, and I'm just going to take a little color off the center there. And then I'm going to come back in with my light color and and go over that again, sort of leaving some of that light. It's really hard to get exact highlights like you like them, or like you think they should be. Like, again, I am not an artist. I took a tool painting class and I really struggle with highlights, but I definitely want that to look like it's rounded, so I do want some highlights there. And then for this pumpkin over here, I want it really light, so I'm going to go ahead and color it in light again. And then I'm going to use my color lifter to lighten the areas where I don't want as much, because I don't want all the pumpkins to look the same. So I'm going to come in here and just lighten. I don't know if you can see how that color changes. Okay, so next we need some green for our, I don't know where, I thought I had a brown for, oh, I might have used the ivory for that. So this is the light old olive, and I'm going to go ahead and color the leaves. It looks like my tip is out a little far. I'm just going to grab a hold of that and just give it a little push. There we go. I might have done that if I pulled my cap off wrong. Sometimes you can damage your tips by not being careful when you take them off and on. And let me grab my dark old olive right away, and I'm going to add some shading in here where the lines of the leaf are. And I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of color there. Bring my lighter one back in and just spread that shading out a little bit. All right, so I want it to look shaded, but I don't want lines, so that's why I'm going back over it. It will blend itself a little bit, but your marker will blend it a little bit more. Your lighter color will blend it nicely. And let me go ahead and do this. I don't ever leave caps off, so I'm holding it in my hand and just sticking it in the cap, but not completely tightening it. So I'll just keep it in my hand like that. All right, now let's see. I'm finished with the dark one. I'm going to come in with the light and just add some green here to these. And then I'm going to come in with the ivory. I wanted to grab a brown. I sort of want it to be brownish green, because you know how they're sort of, the stems are sort of dying. So, all right, so I'm going to come in with my brush, my firmer tip here, and I'm going to try to get this little swirly thing, and one more swirl here. Okay, so that one's done. Let's go ahead and do the leaves on this one. Like I said, I apologize, there's a lot of coloring to this, but I hate to not show you coloring sometimes, just because sometimes we need to see how that's done as well, and what colors are used and that type of thing. So I decided that since this was the coup de grace, that you might want to see all the steps to that. Oops. If you ever want to splatter, just take this off and it will splatter right on your project. Okay. Coming back in with the light, just to sort of spread that out a little bit. All right, and then I've got my little stems running around here. Those cute little curly cues. All right, and then I'm coming in with the pumpkin pie, and I'm going to go ahead and color this in with the light. And then I'm going to shade it with the dark here at the edges and down in the... Okay. All right, I think we have everything finished. Let's see how this is going. That actually looks really good, so I'm happy with that. Okay, now there was another piece in here, and I don't think I put it back in here, but this was in there, I think, and I thought that would be really cute. If you wanted to put a tag to say something, we could have stuck that up here possibly. I'm not sure that I'm going to use it, but that's a nice option if you want to put a tag on to say something. All right, so what I did was I started with this pumpkin. I sort of laid it out first to see what I wanted, and so I did some popping up. And then I came back later and I thought, oh, I haven't used this at all yet in any of my projects that I've done with these pumpkins. And it's so beautiful that I wanted to use that. But I decided that I wanted some here and some here. So what I did was I just came in and I snipped this leaf apart. Here, like that. And then I just trimmed this one up a little bit so that it looks the same as everything else that's die cut. And this is going to end up going here. And then we'll tuck this one, just so that edge doesn't show, I'll just tuck it under there. Okay? So what I did was I took some, let's get some bigger dimensionals here. Going to go ahead and put a bunch of dimensionals on here. It's a cool project. It requires a lot of lift, right? Just like we do some days, guys, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and remove all of those. You love you some glitter, huh? Okay, now I'm going to just sit this in place. And I'm going to not stick that down because I want to put this pumpkin underneath here. But I want a little bit of raise on this one, so I'm going to put a baby dimensional or two just in the center. And I want this edge to glue down flat. I don't know why. I just want it to. So I'm going to put some glue on that. And this side's going to be tucked behind there, so I'm not too worried about that. So I'm lifting that up and tucking that under. I'm going to actually keep it up a little bit since we're putting that stem down there, or that flower bud. Let's go ahead and press that down. I did have trouble with this, with the dimensionals sticking to this, but probably because it was just wet. So I'm hoping that we left that enough time to dry now. So let me go ahead and put some dimensionals on this piece. I'm going to go ahead and stick 2 on there. Probably a little overkill, but this flower is just so gorgeous with this, isn't it? It's almost like how could you not have used that with those pumpkins? And then I'm going to put 1 on this leaf, and I'm going to put a dot of glue right here because I want to tuck that under. Now, that's not going to stick very easily because it's such a little bit of glue. So I'm going to have to hold it down for a minute. But I'll go ahead and tuck that down, and I will just hold this in place for a couple seconds. And guys, we are almost finished. That wasn't too painful to watch, was it? Hopefully that was helpful and enjoyable. It's just so much fun. And then, oh, we got to put the bow on yet. And this bow got a little bit big, so I'm going to just take it down a notch or 2. When you have thinner ribbon, you don't want your bows to be quite as loud and obnoxious. Give it another trim. And then I'm going to use a glue dot. Thanks, Karen. And I'm I'm just going to stick that right up here. I want it away from the pumpkin a little bit, so I'm going to put it up there. All right. Now, the thing that really makes this, I think, is your shreddy that goes inside. And we sold this different packs of shreddy a couple years ago, and I almost sold it, but I use it a lot, so I have a whole container full of shreddy now. And you just pull apart some and you just throw it in there. And I don't have any candy to put in here, because if I did, guys, I would be eating it. So unfortunately, there's no treats in here. Not because I ate that already. It's because I didn't buy it yet to put in here. And I don't want to, because I know I'll eat it. Oh, anyways. So thanks for staying with me, guys. I hope that you enjoyed that. I didn't bring my projects in for the stamp of the month that I did with the the gorgeous leaf set, but you might want to go back and make sure you catch that. If you didn't get an email on that, let me know if you need that link. In fact, I will put it at the top here just to remind you, since I did not show that this time, because that deadline is looming to sign up for that class. But yeah, this is just so much fun. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for joining me. Catch me next Monday at 8 p.m. I will be showing you the projects. I think I'll be showing you the projects for the month for my classes. So, all right, take care. God bless.